Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you my awesome new Wix website. It's got everything I love all in one place. Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you my awesome new Wix website. It's got everything I love all in one place.
That's weird. What's going on, Debos? What's going on, Nate Catches Fish? Yeah, I got 1,000. Actually, kind of want to talk about that real quickly as well. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to come in. I know this is kind of, I'm trying to figure out why. This is my first time ever doing a live stream. I'm trying to figure out why I have the black things on the side of the screen. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now, but so kind of wanted to do this real quickly. I'm not going to take an hour. I want to talk about a couple of things and just talk first and foremost about this sub for sub thing that's going on and the 1,000 subscriber thing that's going on. I think that when I made that initial video after watching Out West with Chris's live stream, really kind of got, me like, oh, I need to hit 1,000 because I don't want to jump through all these hoops and hurdles to get back into the monetization program. Like I mentioned before, that I think that once this stuff kind of goes through after the 20th, that it'll be that much harder to get monetized. And really what it boils down to for me is that if you're not monetized, and this is just my thought, if you're not monetized on YouTube, YouTube has no desire to push your videos. It's just not, there's not a revenue stream for them anymore. So getting the view time and getting to that 1,000 subscribers is going to be that much harder to do. And that's really kind of my logic, is that I'm going to work on making better content, and I'm going to kind of put more effort into this into 2018. And if I'm going to do that, I want people to view it. And I want people to kind of get either a visceral reaction or some sort of reaction to it, saying, you should do this more, you should not do this more. But that's kind of where my head's at. And then going back to the 1,000 subscriber thing and the sub for sub thing, it's kind of gotten out of control. There's been a couple of channels that I've been introduced to that I've just been like, oh, I'm so grateful that I've been introduced to these channels. But I saw a video yesterday that somebody kind of voiced the same sentiment, is that some channels that are doing the sub for sub stuff, it's literally, there's no effort in it whatsoever. And that's something that, to me, I don't have an interest in watching your content, and I want people to be interactive on my content, and I'm sure you want me to be interactive on your content. So some people just really aren't putting out good stuff, and they're doing YouTube, I wouldn't say for the wrong reasons, but they're not showing any effort. That's kind of what I'm really getting at. So oddly enough, there's been a couple of things too with the sub for sub where people have been completely and totally out of the genre of fishing or outdoors or anything that I have any interest in, and they've subbed to my channel and say, hey, I've just subbed to you. I've literally written them back and say, I'm not going to sub back to your channel. And I think that's probably why I've reached 1,000 subscribers 3 times in the last couple of days. So last night, I, looked and I had 1,000 subscribers exactly. Within 5 minutes, I was back down to 996, and then woke up this morning and I was at 1,004 subscribers. and then checked when I got into the office, and I was back down to 997. I don't even know where I am right now. So I think that there was also too that people that are in our community, that stuff that I probably would watch, that sub to me and sent out a note somewhere in the comment section and say, hey man, I just subbed to you. We got to do this together. And I don't even see that comment because I've gotten like hundreds of comments, as most of you probably have. And it's impossible to keep up with those things. So people fall through the cracks and the loops. And so I go back and I check to who's just subscribed to me. And if they have a decent subscriber count, I usually, and they're putting out content that I want to watch, I'll subscribe back. So that's kind of really what I want to say on this stuff is that, you know, there's been a couple of people that I've been introduced to, like Debo's is one of them from out west with Chris. And there's a couple of other people that, you know, just really put out good content and actually have the personality to do this. And I think that's like 80% of it, is being comfortable on camera and being able to flub through your way through things, and not seeming awkward on camera. And it comes with time. Some people are just naturally born with it. There's a couple of people that I've seen that have like 100 subscribers that are just naturally born with it. I'm like, dude, you need your own channel. I mean, your own talk show, not your own channel, but you need your own talk show. You have the gift of gab. You should really consider doing something with this. I have it a little, not a lot. I speak. I did a lot of public speaking in my past for my job. And I talk for a living, actually. I'm not going to get into what I do for a profession, but I talk for a living. It's part of my job. So what I'm really trying to get at here is that the 1,000 subscribers, okay, that is the easy part of the equation. And the watch time is the difficult part of the equation. And if you've got 100 subs and you've got 20 minutes of watch time, you really kind of need to focus on making better content and getting your content in other ways. One of the things that I'm really blessed with living in Northern California is that we have the most epic bass fishing community, whether it be Yakka bass that's specifically for kayak, whether it be NorCal, No Harvesters, which is a big Facebook page. I'm blessed that I've made a bunch of friends that way, but that when I make a video, I can put that on other social media outlets, and people will receive it, and it's content friendly, and it's content that people want to see. Now, granted, I'm not the greatest fisherman, and that's one of the reasons why I don't do tutorials and stuff like that on, you know, what you should be throwing here, then, and there. That's not really my style. So I kind of just really wanted to touch upon this whole nonsense that's going on. A lot of people, like I said, I've been at 1,000 subscribers 3 times. A lot of people are really kind of getting pissed off that you're not subscribing right back to them. And they're just really, they're not behaving like adults. And I know some of them aren't adults. And that's another thing. I'm 42 people. I do feel awkward subscribing to like a 13-year-old's channel. I think it's wrong in my opinion. It just seems weird. But if they have good content, I'll watch them and I'll subscribe to them. One of the other things too is that like this has kind of opened my eyes up to the other part of YouTube. I think because I'm so focused on fishing and fishing content, and I love watching fishing videos, that I don't really like look at like the larger YouTube channels. I mean, there's channels out there. I've watched some guy's channel. I forgot his name now. The production value on it is insane. Kid probably went to school for it, but he's got like 20 million subscribers. And I realized that in our fishing community that we don't have anybody that really does high production values, because we want to see actual fish catches. We want to have some sort of tutorial or something like that. So we're kind of a different part of YouTube that I think a lot of us don't really want to associate with. I know I don't. So the content that I put out is what I consider unique to my style. That has to do with the way I present things. A lot of people tell me in my videos that I laugh entirely too much. It's because I'm having a good time. And for me, it's just, YouTube has always been this creative outlet. If you saw the Out West with Chris live stream that I did with him, I kind of gave my reasons on why I started YouTube. And I'll reiterate it here. Nobody knows this on the West Coast because I'm from the East Coast. But I used to have a music blog specifically catered to hard rock and heavy metal because I'm a metalhead. And writing was always something that was a creative outlet for me. I used to draw and paint and do all that stuff all the time. As I got older, it kind of went away. So YouTube, specifically last year, really kind of came to me as a creative outlet. So that's why I do YouTube. And another thing too, YouTube is hard to be good at it and to be successful. It's a lot of work. I think a lot of the younger generations are the people that are just saying, hey, get me to 1,000 subs. And like what I said, like that's the easy part. They don't realize how much work actually goes into getting those numbers. And I think the unboxing videos that I used to do, like I stopped doing that because everybody does them. You really have to differentiate your channel. And to be candid with you, I don't have something that really makes my channel different than the rest of the fishing channels. So I kind of, in the same boat with everybody. It's just kind of luck on whether or not you get to, discovered or you kind of move up the food chain. So I want to look at the comments real quickly, kind of say hello to some people. Debo's, what's up? Real Wobbler, what's up? Josh, what's up, man? Hey, man, good talking to you at IAC. I'm going to talk about that real quickly, show some of the stuff I got. I don't want to just talk about like this whole subscriber nonsense that's going on. Just kind of wanted to voice some things. Okie Catfishing, what's going on? Yakking with Sarah, hey. Fishing Hobby, hey, man. Keep plugging away, man. Debo, I've mentioned you, man. If you guys aren't watching Debo's Fishing, man, you're missing. Like he's one of those channels that I discovered in this whole process through Out West with Chris mentioning him, and the guy's got it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I actually think Fishing, Right Along Fishing says the same thing on his live stream. Debo, man, don't get a big head, but you've got something, man. You really, really do. Nate Catches Fish, Earl Wagner. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all watching this stuff. So if you have any questions also, too, in this whole live stream, I'm not going to do an hour. I'll probably do 45 minutes or so. And I still, if anybody knows why I have the 2 black bars on the side of my screen, it's really kind of pissing me off. And the video quality looks freaking horrible. But anyway, ask questions if you have questions, personal questions. Probably won't answer too deeply. Fishing questions, I will answer. So I said my piece about the 1,000 subscriber nonsense that's going on. And one last thing about this whole thing. It really does not matter how many subscribers you have. It matters how many views you have. It matters how many times somebody comments or likes on your video. That really, kind of creates that buzz about your channel. I was on Social Blade earlier today, just as the final note. I was on Social Blade earlier today, and I did channels similar to mine, and there's a guy who has a travel channel that has over 1 million views that only has like 954 subs. And he gets a lot more exposure than I do, and his rating was like a B+, and I'm a C+ on Social Blade. So anyway, Musky Hans, what's going on, man? Want to talk and switch gears real quickly. I was at the ISE show in Sacramento this past weekend. And if you're not familiar with ISE, it's the International Sportsman Expo, Sacramento. As much as I hate this town, it's one of the few things that this city offers, and it happens once a year. And it's hunting, it's fishing, it's boating, it's kayaking. And kind of just want to point some things out. Like I didn't really go shopping there. I didn't go there to really kind of, to buy a bunch of stuff, because I've really tried to strip down all my fishing. I only throw 2 colors of soft plastics now. It's a green pumpkin of some sort and a black and blue of some sort. That's for all conditions. For hard baits, I only throw 3 different colors, which I'm going to kind of contradict myself real quickly and say that I probably probably throw 3 or 4 colors of hard baits. And that's typically like some sort of ghost minnow, some sort of actual shad, and then some sort of crawdad color for stained waters. So basically, want to show some things that I got at IAC that I thought was really, really cool. And the first thing that I really want to show is this. This is a Miller punch system, and it's for Bubba shotting. If you don't know what Bubba shotting is, it is a heavy, heavy drop shot. And these weights are made by Danny Miller. And Danny Miller's a local guy. And one of my good friends, Justin, was working the booth there because he has known Danny for a long time. And a while back, Danny created this punch weight, and it looks different than most other tungsten weights. The line goes through right there. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see all this stuff. And the real way that it works is that you can throw this on top of a mat, and you can lift up your rod a little, and it goes straight down. And recently he came out with the wire. And this, to me, is something that everybody should have in their arsenal. Here's the line tie right here. You can Texas rig any kind of soft plastic. For me, it would probably be, I don't know, it'd probably be some sort of creature bait. And this really isn't to be thrown on top of mats. And there's Justin right there, red1systems.com if you want to buy them. They come in a 2-pack, a 3/4 ounce and a 1 ounce. And honestly, like, this is an ingenious idea because you would tie right here, you would pitch into heavy cover, right? Or some sort of like matted grass. It would go down. And when it goes down, the bait is still swinging freely here, and you can bounce it up and down on the bottom. So this is a new spin on a punch weight. When I saw Justin, because Justin was working the booth at ISC for Miller punch weights, I told him, I was like, that's the one that I want, because the original, which was just a weight, I really wasn't that big of a fan of. But this, I cannot wait to throw this thing. It looks pretty sick. And Justin, if you're looking at the chat right now, Justin's the guy to talk to. He could probably help you out. He knows Danny Miller really, really well. Danny Miller also created something called the Red One Systems, which is great for if you're a boater or if you're a kayaker to keep your cameras. He makes incredible camera leashes. So take a look at that website. He's a local guy, like I said, so definitely want to support those guys. Also, in regards to local guys, my buddy Eric Martinez makes the twerk minnow, and this is the smaller size twerk minnow. The real thing behind this is that, like, the plastic on this is just so super durable. There's a little, you can basically throw an EWG weighted hook on there. But picked up a couple of these, and then you guys have seen these. These are line cutters. And I picked up the line cutters that actually mount because, I don't want to wear a ring. I'd rather mount this on my kayak. I'm not going to be able to open this now. Oh. I'd rather mount this on my kayak and have it there along with a pair of snips. So I'm sure if you're not familiar with line cutters, and I don't know where you've been, you've probably been under a rock, because not only have they been on Shark Tank, but they've just really kind of been all over the industry. So I'm going to look over here at the comment section. What's up, Kyle? Kyle, thanks, man. You've been a supporter from like day one. All right. So anybody have any questions for me? Let me know, because if not, I'm just going to keep talking. What else did I pick up at the ISE show? I have a confession to make. I picked up straight up jig heads. And here's why. I've been bass fishing for a long enough time now where, you think you have everything that you need. But I was at Berryessa fishing that tournament. There's a video on it on my channel. And I realized that I don't own any flat out just like football jig heads. I mean, I own jigs that are tied by canopy grenades, but like I don't own any just flat out jigs. And That's how we were catching fish, was we were dragging a jig head on the bottom with a creature bait or some sort of other bait. And the fish were just so like associated with the bottom that they were just picking it up and we were just ripping them up. So the things you think you have that you don't have is probably the best way to say it. What's up, Dustin? So what else should we talk about? Oh, and the last thing I picked up at ISC was Chris Lane's big mistake. River to Sea bait. If you're not familiar with River to Sea, I don't know where you live, because the Whopper Plopper is probably one of the biggest baits ever to hit the market in the last couple of years. This is Chris Lane's big mistake. This is a jacked up devil horse, in my opinion. Huge props on the front, huge props on the back. And this is in the monkey butt color. And this is kind of what I was saying before about colors. I really only buy 3 colors of hard baits. I would put this in a ghost minnow category. You can see right through it. And when this thing turns a little, you get the top, which is more like an olive color. So interested and psyched to really kind of throw this thing specifically on the California Delta, which leads me to probably the final part of what I wanted to talk about. And that was kayak. You know, a lot of you have not been subscribed to my channel for a long time. I fish out of a Feel Free Lure 11.5 kayak. I love that kayak, but since the pedal drive revolution's kind of come along, I've really just, you know, gotten hell-bent, because most of my friends that I fish with are in a pedal now. I really gotten hell-bent on getting a pedal drive. And I didn't say this to a lot of people, but I had posted my kayak for sale with everything, including the fish finder, and was really super stoked because I had a buyer that I thought was going to come through on Sunday, and that fell through. And so when I was at ISE, I got to really kind of get hands-on with some of the drives that I'm not familiar with. And I got to see Feel Free's drive in person and kind of got to really kind of fiddle with it and roll it around. And I posted something on my Instagram page that basically, you know, said, you know, I'm going to talk about this in my live stream today. So here's the deal. I've had a lot of people comment to me and ask me on one of my particular videos. I have a video that I did a while back. That's one of my top performing videos. It's in my playlist of Feel Free Lure. It's my top 5 gripes about the Feel Free Lure. And like probably half the comments on there, like, why aren't you, you know, are you excited for the pedal drive? Are you going to stick around for the pedal drive? And I'm leaving Feel Free. I'm not going to stay in a Feel Free kayak. And it's because they took so long to come out with the pedal drive. They announced it at, you know, at the fishing show. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. The one that takes place in Orlando in 2016. And they just really kind of got it out to market right now. And so when I was at ISE at Sacramento this past weekend, I got to actually look at it and play with it. And I'm not going to blow them up, and I'm not going to talk trash about them, because I think the lure without the pedal drive is a superior kayak, but the pedal drive sucks. And I have no problem saying that. I don't have any affiliation with Feel Free. I've done a lot of free promotion for them. I've gotten emails from them. Our local kayak shop, which is the best one around Headwaters, sells Feel Free. So, you know, Dan, if you're watching this, it's no disrespect to anything. You know, basically, thank you, Ernie. It was iCast. I saw it. I got to kind of wiggle the pedal drive around the overdrive system for Feel Free, and I saw what some of the wires were doing to the steering system, and I felt how flimsy the steering system was. And if anybody from Feel Free is watching this, you guys screwed up big time. That's all I'm really going to say about this. And you know, so that being said, I mentioned that I had a buyer for my kayak, and I was really super stoked, and it fell through. So I thought that on Sunday I was going to be buying a pedal kayak. And I mentioned in one of the bank fishing videos that I did that I am going to get a Jackson Cruise. And I've had a couple people say, why not the Coosa? And just to top line it real quickly, the Feel Free lure that I'm in right now has to be car topped. I'm in a situation where I'm not going to go buy a new car, and I drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I'm not going to buy a trailer because that's extra money, and I also have to register it every year. And it's something else that I can just destroy something on the highway with. I'm not a bad driver, but at the end of the day, I need to keep my life as simple as possible for the time being. So the Feel Free lure is car topped, and with everything off of it, it's around 75 pounds. So getting up on the top of the car is not that big of a deal. And that's just the frame of the kayak. Now, when I looked at pedal kayaks, specifically the one in the Jackson line, the Kuso weighs $120, $120 with everything on it, maybe $105 with everything off of it. And that's a lot of weight to put up. And I know most people have never met me in person, but I'm 6'4", 240 on a good day. If I don't eat breakfast. So I'm a big guy. I mean, I don't have a problem lifting that stuff up, but it's a pain in the ass, especially if you've been out all day. And to me, it's just the lighter, the better that I can get away with. So that's switched my gears and looking to the Jackson Cruise. So the Jackson Cruise weighs 86 pounds fully loaded. You get it down, it's about 75 pounds. And so it's the same weight as the Feel Free lure that I'm in now. It is 5 inches longer and 1 inch less wide. So it's basically the lure. The steering system is awesome. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Okay. All right. It's basically the Feel Free lure, and as far as the dimensions are concerned. So, and the cost is just awesome. It's $2,100, and so that's really kind of why I'm going into the cruise. I might just bite the bullet and buy the kayak. I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of putting things on credit cards, but I might just do that. I'm not in a rush to do it, like I said before, but I'm itching to get it. And I'm that type of person that once I get my mindset on something, it doesn't have to happen immediately, but it's going to happen sooner or later. So be on the lookout for videos on that stuff as well. Dennis, my thoughts. Dennis Unger, what are your thoughts about the Bonafide kayak? So what are they doing? Like, what's their big push? What makes them so special? They're made in the USA. They're pressed in the USA. Everything comes from the USA. That's all I hear from that kayak company. I think it's built as a fishing platform, which is great. But Jackson kayaks are made and pressed in the United States. I don't know. I think that I asked somebody the other day who was doing a unboxing video, not unboxing, but an unwrapping video of a Bonafide kayak, and basically didn't really, basically I asked him, do you think they're going to come out with a pedal drive? Because it seems like odd that they're not creating a pedal system when it's the biggest craze right now. And he said it's possible they'll come out with one, but they're not focused on it right now. So they want to stick to their guns. That's really cool. And then probably also going to one comment that I'll have too, getting into a pedal drive. I'm not sure if that's going to complicate things more or not, because the area that I fish is known as the California Delta. That's 95% of where I fish. So there's a lot of weeds and there's a lot of grass and it's shallow, and pedal drives seem really, really great for wide open spaces. So who knows? But I've been talking. I don't know how long I've been talking for. I'm sorry. I don't know why there's 2 black bars on the side of the video. I still haven't figured that out. Anybody know? Let me know. But questions, comments, complaints? Working class outdoors. I am the size of a linebacker. Oddly enough, though, I played soccer in college. Okay, and 9 people watching. All right. Well, so just to reiterate kind of what I was saying before, and then I'll end this. Like, I don't need to do an hour one, like I said before. I think that the 1,000 subscribers, I hope everybody gets there, but I hope everybody really realizes that the 4,000 hours is the hard part of everything. There's been people that have been doing sub for sub way longer than this when this whole thing came about. So the sub for sub is great. Like I said, if you sub to me and I haven't subbed back and you're a fishing related channel, please comment after the stream is done so I can really kind of, go in there and look at your channel and sub to you. If you're not in our community, and I call it a community because it's fishing, hiking, outdoors, hunting, all these guys kind of think the same and we kind of enjoy looking at the same content. If you're outside of that, I may or may not sub back to you. I don't think it's necessary for me to sub to people just to sub to people. But last thing I want to say, and I'm going to go, just thank you for everybody kind of watching these videos before. I mean, a couple of guys that have been on here. Kyle Spencer is one of them. Kyle's been like a subscriber from almost like day one, and he's a good person. He lives in Florida, and he's just guys like that. And hopefully all the new people that have subscribed, I can entertain you a little bit, and we can just take it from there. So I look on continuing to grow this channel. Oddly enough, I have a pretty big Instagram page. I'm approaching 3,000. It's Yankee Tanker Outdoors on Instagram, at Yankee Tankers Outdoors on Instagram. And I have a Facebook page. Go over there and like that stuff too as well. Oh, and one last thing. The one thing that I really kind of want to talk about and kind of get some feedback from you guys on was I'm thinking about starting a Patreon account. And basically, here's the thought process behind doing the Patreon account. I did giveaways last year a lot, and once every month, and it was because I was cleaning out my garage, and it was stuff that had just been sitting there for a year, and I was just kind of getting sick and tired of looking at it. I still have plenty of stuff to give away. It was just kind of a hassle. And then on one of my initial videos about this 1,000 subscriber thing, somebody had commented, do better giveaways. And I was like, well, I'm not buying stuff. I'm not going to go out and buy stuff for a giveaway to give to somebody else. I don't want to grow my channel that way. So I really just don't want to spend the money that way. And so kind of had this idea that if I opened a Patreon account and I went out and said, we're going to start, if you donate to Patreon, you'll be qualified for as an incentive to win a reel. And then I'd be completely and totally transparent on what I got on the Patreon. And I would purchase a reel for, I don't know, like 3/4 of the price of the money that I made on Patreon. So what that means is that if I had 75 donors on Patreon, right, that donated, let's just say $1, they would have a chance to win a $75 reel, but they only donated $1. Does that make sense? And that way I could basically do a giveaway for a $75 reel. And I would purchase it, and we could even have a discussion on what reel it should be, and then do a real quick turnaround giveaway, because my giveaways in the past have always been like a month long. So like I announced the giveaway at the beginning of the month, and I do the drawing on the 20th. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. There are some legalities. You cannot be called a raffle. So it would really be something that would be an incentive, and it would only be for the people that donated to Patreon to keep it fair, if that makes sense. So, and it doesn't have to be $1. It could be 50 cents. So if I had 150 people donate 50 cents to Patreon, I would take, or if I had, let's just take that back. If I had 200 people donate 50 cents to Patreon, that would give me, and I spent 75% of those earnings, or not earnings, of donations on a reel, which would make it a $75 reel. It would kind of be somewhat of a raffle kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm trying to work out the logistics behind all of it, because there's a legality behind it too as well. But I'm interested to hear if you're open to that, because that would be a really, really great way for me to do awesome giveaways. Like a Shimano Corrado K, which is a hot reel right now. I am certainly not going to go out and buy one. Being that I don't even throw Shimanos. I only throw 13 stuff. So that's all I really wanted to say. I told a couple of buddies of mine over text that I was doing a live stream because I had a free day at work, but I just couldn't leave my office. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you again for all the support in any capacity. Some of you guys, I'm sure, will end up becoming friends in the long run. And because I've made a couple already. And Out West with Chris is a prime example. I met Out West with Chris through YouTube, and he and I are actually, I'd say, pretty good friends right now. So, and that was a blessing. So it's another reason why I do YouTube. You get to meet new people. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.